Hi, this is Jim Musser with Upstream Ministries, and welcome again to Views from Downstream. And this week, I want to focus on the local church. Now, my perspective on the local church is really grounded in my 38 years as a campus pastor, working mostly with Christian young people who have grown up both in Christian homes and participated in churches. And as I've said before, I've seen a real lack of spiritual maturity in these kids as they come on the campus as 17 or 18-year-olds. And it makes me want to look back upstream to see what is going on and what is not working. And so I spent a lot of time thinking about how the local church operates. And basically, over the last 4 decades, primarily it has been a consumer driven institution. And what I mean by that is that churches are looking to develop programs and ways of doing things that are going to attract people. And so over the last 40 years, you've seen just a tremendous uptick in worship bands. And the organ is now passé in almost every church. And there's some piano, but it's mostly keyboard, lead guitars, bass guitars, drums. And that was done because church leaders saw that that was attractive to the general public. And so almost every church has a worship band now. And another thing is that because of television and movies and all the media that we consume, increasingly people have wanted entertaining speakers. And so pastors are being hired to preach in an entertaining way because they need to not bore the audience. And these are just a couple examples. There's all kinds. But basically, that is what has become of the local church. It's consumer driven. And I often say that we tend to give people what they want rather than what they need. And so people want a good, tidy 30 to 40 minute sermon, and they can listen to it and it can be entertaining and maybe provide some guidance, some conviction, but then they can leave and then they can come back next week. And so what is missing, and I emphasize this so far on this channel, is the training, is the discipleship. There is not much discipleship going on in the American local church. We can try to convince ourselves that, yeah, we really are doing discipleship. We're having this deep study, sermon study every week on a particular book or topic. But if it's just a lecture, it's not going to be training, because we look at Jesus and he did lecture, he did preach, but he trained. He spent time with his disciples and demonstrated by his own life and in a way that they could observe what it meant to be a follower of his. And there's very little of that going on in the local church today. We have a sermon, we might have a Sunday school class or a small group, but all of those again are very passively oriented. They require us to sit and listen, and not much is required of us to do anything or to be shown how to do anything. And so that's the main problem, I think, and shortcoming of the local church today. And if we are going to produce young people who grow up with a faith that is going to be lasting a lifetime and be very productive and effective in transforming people around them, then we have to move away from this consumer-driven model to a biblical model that says discipleship is going to be our number one priority, regardless of how that impacts our attendance. Because the reality is that people, it's just our nature. We want it as easy as possible and as convenient as possible. But being a disciple of Jesus is not easy, and it's not necessarily convenient. And we need to build that in to our training as churches. And so this week I want to focus more on that and how we can begin to change directions. And so this is just give you some food for thought to think about until Wednesday. So in the meantime, have a great day, and we'll see you back here in a couple days. Bye-bye.